Hello everyone, the Kentucky Patriot here. I apologize about the long delay in between videos. We try to get videos out on a semi-regular basis, but it's been a long delay with just life and kids and just being busy, so for that I apologize. And the second thing, there's no explosions in this video, no meat targets, no shooting, so if your comment is you talk too much, then this probably in the video for you. I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful, but I have no other way to communicate. I'm not a good at sign language, so all I do is use my voice to communicate. So anyway, having said that, I've thought about this a lot, especially here lately. And when people say, do you need an AR-15? Well, we probably have to understand really what a need is. We need food, we need water, we need shelter. So the actual term, do we need an AR-15? The actual answer is probably no. Because I could have the same round chambered in a bolt-action hunting rifle, a 223 or a 5.56 or whatever. Do I need a certain round? I don't want to say it because I'm afraid it'll get flagged, but you know, a standard capacity magazine of an AR-15 how many it holds. Do I need that many rounds? Now that may be debatable depending on what I'm doing. Do you need that to hunt? No, I've never one time hunted with an AR, nor do I ever plan on it. Now if I go out west and hunt maybe something like prairie dogs, then I might consider it, but even at that I think there's so many better choices. So no, I don't need per se that for hunting. But do you need it for other things? Well, maybe. Home defense, self-defense, bug out situation, you never know what you might run into, so that could potentially be a need. But we understand we need oxygen, we need food, we need medicine. There's certain things we may need, especially if you're diabetic or there's certain medicines we have to take maintenance. Those are needs. But do I need an AK or an AR platform? The answer is probably no. But that's not the point. The point of it is you start a slippery slope when you begin to infringe upon rights, okay? What bothers me is I'm not going to argue that I need that, but here is the point I guess I want to make is really we don't need freedom. There's people that survive in communism. There's people that survive in socialism. There's people that survive in prison. But that's not the life I want for myself, and that's not the life I want for my children. So it's not necessarily do you need this round or do you need this gun. The founders were very clear about the Constitution. And I don't know, I've thought about this for years, I don't know how you can get any plainer or word it any better than the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And I'm not going to get into a whole lot of political stuff here, but there are states and cities right here in the United States of America that absolutely tread and infringe upon these rights every day. And that's what disturbs me is, could I survive and live without an AR and AK? Yeah, probably. But the problem is when you start taking these magazines, when you start saying things about a certain round or a certain platform or a certain gun, that's what really disturbs me, because they are even pushing it to the point of saying that we only need muskets, or the Second Amendment only applied to muskets, or you only should be able to have it in your house. That's not what the Constitution says. It says the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It doesn't say only in your home are you allowed to have guns, but we should be able to carry them, to have them in our vehicle, to protect ourselves. And I will tell you this, this is not taught in school. A lot of people don't know this, because people say, well, what do you need that for hunting for? You don't need that for hunting. Well, the Second Amendment was never written for hunting. There's nothing in the Constitution about hunting. The right of the people to keep and bear arms was to fight and to be able to defend themselves against a tyrannical government, against tyranny. So anytime a government anywhere in the world tries to infringe upon your rights to keep and bear arms, if you look back in history, I don't want to say his name because you got to watch it. YouTube is really getting very rough here lately about wording, so I'm not going to say his name, but he was the leader of Germany in World War II. He took the guns. There was guns registry first. He took the guns. We know what happened in World War II with that. There was another communist leader in China. His name starts with an M, three letters. To his name, he took the guns. Millions were killed. I almost said his name, but he was in a country that starts with a V. I can probably say it in South America, Venezuela. His name started with a C. I almost said his name. Same thing. They tried to implement a government and socialism and the taking of the guns. We see what happened there. Millions of people have died. Millions of people were slaughtered. So it's not just about, do you need this platform? Do you need this round? Do you need, when you start restricting capacity, when you start restricting attachments, when you start restricting the rights of the people to keep and bear arms, that's wherein the problem lies. And it is a very slippery, dangerous slope when they begin to infringe upon these rights and take our freedoms. Because the freedoms we lose today, our children are going to only lose more and more. It is a very dangerous, slippery slope. So we need to fight the good fight. And like I said, I don't really get a whole lot of try to stay off politics as much as I can on here. But it amazes me, the people, and regardless of what you think of the NRA, good, bad, whatever, they'll send you out magazine. I'm a Life member, and they'll tell you what politicians rank in their, what they say, and how they vote on their voting records. And if they're getting D's and F's, I don't care what party you belong to, quit voting for these people. I don't care what party they are. If they're getting an F and a D on your rights, you are voting away your rights. So pay attention not only to what politicians say, but how they vote, what their voting record is, what their stance is. Pay attention to. I'm so afraid of getting flagged and get my channel taken down. But there are some agencies. One starts with an A. It's a 3-letter agency. The first letter is alcohol. Pay attention to what those guys are doing. Those are unelected officials. That so very, very cautious. Need to be vigilant. We really need to pay attention. Teach our kids and understand the Constitution, the importance of it, because when our constitutional rights start eroding away, I think it was Reagan back in the 80s said, we're one generation away. Could you imagine us having these freedoms, letting them slip away, and our children not be able to defend themselves, our children not be able to have freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, to enjoy the freedoms that we have enjoyed? So anyway, when we hear, do you need this? Well, the answer is probably no. But again, why are you asking if I need it? What's it matter what I have? And I'll say this, I'm trying to make the video too long, but people are like, well, we shouldn't have the same weapons as the military. When the Second Amendment was written, people had the same weapons as the military. And this is what's funny. They'll make memes and stuff of like, having military grade, and people's like, no way, I don't want military grade. My weapons are much nicer than military grade. So a lot of times people, and then they call them assault weapons. There's no such thing as an assault weapon. It doesn't even make sense. Because when you assault somebody with a hammer, it's not called an assault hammer. So regardless of a magazine capacity, it's either a rifle, or it's a shotgun, or it's a bolt action. It's a semi-automatic. It's not an assault rifle. An assault is an action. A gun is an inanimate object. So you can't deem something an assault knife. If I have a knife with a certain inch blade as a fixed blade, is that an assault knife? If I attach a compass to my gun, does that make, or a compass to my knife, does that make it any more deadly? If the blade is serrated, does that really matter to the knife? No, that knife is an inanimate object, just like a gun. They're inanimate objects. It's the guns isn't the problem. And if gun control worked, Chicago would be safe. Chicago would be a safe haven. The problem is gun control don't work. Criminals don't obey laws. So when you infringe upon their rights, all you're doing is taking the rights of the law-abiding to be able to defend themselves. Grandparents be able to defend their home when they're up in years. A single mother being able to defend their children. Criminals don't obey laws. And when you begin to infringe upon these rights and you start taking a certain platform, a certain color of gun, a certain round, a certain magazine, when you begin to infringe upon these things, you're taking the rights of the law-abiding. Criminals aren't going to turn in their guns. Criminals aren't going to obey those laws. All you're doing is disarming the sheep, and there's wolves out there that's armed. So, whether you like him or don't, it's not. I can care less. Not trying to be rude, but I really don't. Whether you like Wayne LaPierre or not, but I love what he says. The only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, and I say amen to that. Now, I'm going to say this, and I am going to get out of here, but Like I said, I don't agree with everything the NRA does and says. There's a lot of things I'd like to see done different, but I'm a life member, paid my dues years ago. I've not given them a dime in years, so I have a membership still, so I'm going to the NRA convention. Those of you that are, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to meet you. I've met a lot of you at conventions in times past. It's going to be in Indianapolis this year. There's a ton of guns, ton of convention people, products, manufacturers, a lot of keynote speakers. It's a good time. A lot of YouTubers are going to be there. It's just a great time. So if you're going to be there, let me know. I'd love to meet you. Come up and say hi. Love to shake your hand, meet you in person, especially a lot of you guys that's followed the channel for years and commented. Some of you I have got to meet, and I'm thankful for that. Those of you that hadn't, I'd love to have the opportunity. Appreciate you. I wish you and yours the very best. Hopefully we'll get to the range soon. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Please like, share, and subscribe. May God bless you. The Kentucky Patriot, signing off.